You change it first by talking about it and not being defensive about the status quo. To say that a problem exists doesn't implicate everyone in a certain way. It's not about pointing fingers and saying you're to blame or that you're causing this problem.
What we need to do is have a more sophisticated conversation about racism, to not bristle at the idea that Australia has racism in its pocket, the ways in which corridors of power exclude us. We need to acknowledge that that is a real thing, and we need to have a conversation on how to dismantle it.
It's in people's nature to discriminate to varying degrees, and it's just a question of increasing our awareness of that so that we can identify when we're doing it. Because a lot of people who don't think they're racist, they actually are. It's just they're not like, you know, they're not like the Ku Klux Klan. It's just much more of a subtle thing.
Solving this requires action as well as talking, and we need to collect better data on cultural diversity. We need to be more courageous about talking and setting targets on cultural diversity. We need to do more to eliminate bias and barriers that may exist.
I think still more often than not, promotion to leadership is as a consequence of somebody there bringing you along or promoting you or bringing you up. And so without the sponsors and the mentors who are already in leadership positions, it is more difficult.
But it is incredibly slow because, you know, executives and leaders within organisations are incredibly busy trying to run their organisations. I think sometimes though what they forget is that these biases that exist within the organisation are the very things that are holding that company back.
I think that the same strategies that you use for gender diversity are applicable to broader diversity issues. And I think, you know, we haven't got the time or the luxury to wait. Say, we'll do gender for the first 10 years and then do diversity for the next 10 years. You've just got to do it at the same time.
We can't just think that things will change if they step up. And it was the same for women. You know, the bolder women got there first. You know, some women got there before others. It wasn't necessarily the brightest or the, you know, the women that you would think would get there, but personality plays a lot into this. But you do have to step outside your comfort zone, unfortunately, if you want to get ahead.
If we keep trying and we keep pushing for that change, there will be enough of us, enough non-Europeans, enough women, that the culture itself starts to reflect what society looks like, and from then onwards it actually becomes a lot easier.
Now, Lyndon B. Johnson has this wonderful little quote. It says, "We must open the doors of opportunity, but we must equip our people to walk through those doors." Just having those opportunities isn't enough, because sometimes people just don't have the skill, the capacity, or even that mental acuity to understand what it takes.
What I've learned through my career is nobody's going to sit there and say, "Oh, look, we like you, come in." You have to fight for everything that you have, and I've done that. So I think you just have to be bold and put yourself out there, which is a very unnatural position for most Asian Australians, and that's why I think, you know, structurally we also need to change.
The brutal reality is that people also need to get more cunning in how they negotiate environments and not wait for change to occur. They've got to instigate change. They've got to find ways to get into the rooms and bodies that make decisions so that they can accelerate the change. If you wait for too long, the invitation may not come.